Mind juice.
Oh my god.
I have a shadow today. Welcome. Today's host is going to be Ben with your co-hosts, Nick, Vlad, and myself, Dave. We're going to be discussing an essay called "Fuck Work." Ben, take it away.
It's not some weird porno either.
No, this essay by, who's it by?
James Livingston.
James Livingston, renowned economic historian. In a nutshell, is him saying that in the future, the very, very near future, we won't have jobs. And because work means everything to Americans, we have to take steps now to rethink about how our culture can be organized about something other than jobs, since in the future we won't have any jobs. It is not a very well written article. It kind of goes all over the place, and it's dripping with bias and arrogance. But it raises a lot of interesting points, so I thought that we would talk a little bit about it today. Does anyone want to offer their preliminary thoughts on the essay?
Maybe just that it confused me because I think it. No, I think I want to say why it confused me. To add on to that, because I think it's mostly because of how we've been all taught a certain way, and it's this idea that we always talk about. How we follow things because we were raised on these ideas that aren't necessarily right, but we don't know any better. Am I saying that right at all? Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Yes. Brainwashing.
Yes.
Indoctrination.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't quite understand is why exactly are we not going to have jobs, and how exactly are we going to live without jobs? How are we gonna buy ourselves food and living? I didn't get that part.
You read the essay?
Yeah,
we're gonna get an income without having to work.
Who's giving that to us?
The government, Dave.
Oh, is that what he was trying to say?
Yeah.
Why on earth would they give us money that they don't have?
No, they do have the money. All they have to do is raise taxes on income.
Wait a minute.
They're circulating.
They're gonna take money away from the money they're giving us
Yeah.
to help pay for the money they're giving other people.
I didn't think that we would get to this part of the article until 20 minutes from now. But yeah, that was the biggest contradiction that I found in the essay. The first 5 paragraphs were all like, no more jobs, no more work, and then paragraph 6 was like, how are we going to afford this? Raise taxes on income. Even though he just had basically said no more income.
No more income.
So yeah, but no, theoretically, there's no more jobs because look around. There are no more jobs, right? Nobody has a job, right? Because of the Great Recession, and the Great Recession was how many years ago?
2008, right? 2007.
7 or 8 years ago. I don't know. I lost track. And we still don't have any more jobs than we did then. And machines are taking over so many jobs, and China, our jobs are going to China. So basically, in 20 years, there's going to be no more jobs. And so we have to start. Why not?
Well, we're always gonna want somebody to wait on us if we go out to dinner, right?
Maybe we get a robot to do that.
What if we don't want a robot to do that? What if I'd rather a human being come and talk to me?
Well, Dave, you're gonna have to take it up with the author. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that that's not gonna happen. I mean, maybe to a degree, a lot of stuff is gonna be automated, but like for the most part, most of American jobs are service based anyway, and a lot of those aren't gonna be solved by automation.
Right, but should we want to keep the jobs that we have? If it becomes possible in the future due to, you know, wealth redistribution, or if it becomes possible in the future to obtain an income without working, will people want to keep working in those industries? That was another point raised by the article.
I don't know.
Essay.
I guess it would give time for people to do what they really want to do.
But you just said you wanted a job, Dave.
Yeah, but I expect to get a job in the engineering field, which is what I would want to do outside of work anyway.
All right, so that's an interesting question. If we didn't have to work, what would we do with our lives? Vlad, we'll start with you because you have a standing invitation to live in my basement for as long as you want. So theoretically, this could be your life.
I would live in your basement and play League.
Just play it, or would you just dominate it?
Dominate it.
All right, I'll make sure I have really, really strong Wi-Fi.
Vlad, can I ask, don't you think you'd be bored after some time?
Yeah, and then I'd find something else to do.
Well, like more video games or like read a book maybe?
Yeah, those are fun.
Vlad doesn't read.
I read biographies.
You've read a biography.
I read one biography, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Basically,
He reads
I wouldn't work. Maybe I would make apps, but I mean, I'm gonna do that anyway.
Okay, Nick.
Yes.
Let's say for the purposes of a hypothesis, which is not real,
Okay.
you had an invitation to live in my basement and not work. What would you do with your life?
I would probably find a way to, I don't know. Right now, my interests are playing video games and pretending I know how to work with electronics. So that's probably what I would do. I'd probably buy as much stuff I could in terms of that, and code things and build things, because that's what actually makes me happy. Yeah.
All right, Dave. I gave you a piece of property to build a shed on that you can live in. Because my basement's getting pretty full. But now you don't have to work. What do you do with your life?
Well, I would work on making that shed the biggest and coolest shed on Earth, first of all. And after that's done, I'd probably do a lot of like 3D printing stuff and work on that industry a lot. I mean, like, what I want to do is just like what I'm already doing at my job. I'd probably have more time for like reading stuff that I actually want to read, which would be cool. But like, there's no time for that in school. Like over the summer, I was able to actually read books. Now I can't. So it would be nice to have free time to do stuff that I really want to do. Learn about things that I actually care about, I guess. I'd want to keep progressing though, that's for sure. I wouldn't want to just like stop and be lazy for the rest of my life.
That was the interesting point in the article too, is that when we go to work, it's the thing that like drives our day. You know, we get up and we go to work so that we can do things after work.
Right.
So yeah.
Do you think he's right that work has become like its own end Like instead of being a means to an end, it's like that's our goal in life is to just do more work.
I don't know. I'd say that work has a weird negative can have a weird negative connotation to it, because when I think of work, I think of like slaving away. But I don't know. The things like Dave's always interested in. If he was working in that field, I don't think it would feel like much work to him sometimes,
Right.
just because of how much he likes it. So it's just, I guess in a sense, yeah, he's right about that it's the end, but it's also kind of the goal it's kind of the end you are looking for or should be looking for. Because I'll never work a day in my life that's something I really, really, really won't want to, just because I'm stubborn and I would be miserable. And I'm really trying to avoid that. So, yeah, I went a few different ways.
I don't believe you.
Yeah. Then I've worked one job and one job only because I would hate to work anywhere else.
Right, but what is work? Right? I mean, we're always going to have things that we want to do, right? So, like, formally jobs might not exist in the future, but there's still going to be things to do to get up and do in the morning, So, like, you go to school, right? How many of you actually want to be in school? I'm actually going to put my hand down. Right, so, Nick's just like, I'm never going to do a job that I don't want to do, blah, blah, blah. Except that's what he's doing right now, is he's basically a full-time worker doing stuff that he doesn't want to do because it gets him somewhere. And
Right.
and so, Vlad wants to code apps, but in order to code apps, he actually has to code an app, and, he doesn't actually want to do that. So, so I feel like this whole concept, I feel like the author is being too narrow about it by saying, jobs instead of taking a step back and saying, work. Does that make sense?
Well, what are you saying is the difference between jobs and work?
I'm saying that there's always something more that we want, right? So, Vlad's living in my basement. He doesn't have to work. He plays League all day. But he wants to dominate League. He wants to work his way up the lists and win competitions and shit like that. He still has a goal. He's still got something to work for, right? And you're in my yard. You don't have to work, but you want to, put an addition onto the shed. Like there's always more to do, right? So when he says, we're gonna run out of jobs, I think that maybe in the narrow sense he could be right, where we run out of, jobs that we go to work and we punch a clock for and stuff. But there's always work to be done. There's always something more to do.
Yeah.
General agreement?
I would say so. I just don't think we will run out of jobs to do. I mean, like, we're always gonna have to build more homes, repair things. You're right. There's always gonna be things to do. We're never gonna run out of things to do.
Have any of you read The German Ideology by Karl Marx?
Can't say I have.
Yeah, I do so.
Okay, then I'll skip that point.
In the pot. What?
All right, so Dave, what does the future job market look like?
Yeah. Well, watch this.
You want to know what I think the future job market looks like?
Yeah, that's what I asked you.
I'm gonna say there's gonna be a lot of automation in the production industry, which there already is. But I think there's gonna be even
Define
more.
production industry.
Well, I think that food is gonna be the next big automatic industry with the new 3D printers that can start printing food now.
That's disgusting.
Well, no, actually, this is interesting. My coworker is customizing one of our Delta bots to have a chocolate printing extruder. He's doing it as a directed study, and he's gonna basically be able to print whatever shape he wants in chocolate, which is pretty cool.
That sounds delicious.
But I don't know. I don't know what the future job market looks like. I don't know what the present job market looks like. That's a hard question for me.
Vlad, what about you? What does the future job market look like?
What's gonna happen?
Yeah.
I think it's gonna move towards technology and biology related things and entertainment.
That's a good point. We're gonna need more entertainment.
Yeah.
As we
Nick,
get
any-
more
any
bored.
thoughts?
Aside from agreeing with what these two said, I would say, actually, no, I have a lot of similar ideas to Dave in the sense that everything's going to start being automated. You know, things are going to start. I don't know. I feel like we have this obsession with making everything a factory, you know, in the sense that I can build something to automatically mass produce product X, Y, and Z, you know, and that's the impressive part, is that it does it on its own. So that's why we have self-driving cars on the way and things, you know, that handle themselves to help us live better. No, I agree with these two. I have the same points.
So there'll be a rise in jobs of machinists then, right?
Right. People like you,
Unless we
Dave.
build machines that fix the machines.
I mean, but
But
you
that's a
don't.
job,
The
too.
machine wouldn't have the creativity of a human, right?
Right, but once we make the machine, then it can fix the other machines.
I don't know. I mean, repairing machines is not an easy task. You kind of need hands to do it. I mean, that's the reason why you can't really do that much stuff on Mars with the probe, right? It's hard to collect data, especially when there's such a big time lag, you know, between the communication.
Right, but don't they like do surgeries now with robots?
I think it's assisted by robots. It's still human operated.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about inequality for a minute.
Oh, all right. Now we're talking.
Because James Livingston is a socialist, as anyone who read that essay could tell, and he made a few good points about, well, a few points about inequality in America. So, Vlad, what do you think causes inequality?
Tradition and adopting the past way of thinking and mistakes.
Care to elaborate a little tiny bit
On which one?
on maybe connecting them together?
They're all okay. Well,
Maybe show us how tradition creates inequality.
well, in the past, let's just say men and women's like they were paid differently for the last 300 years or whatever, maybe longer. And so every generation adopts the previous generation's like habits and whatever you're gonna call it. And so they think it's okay. So they're gonna pay men and women differently. And I say mistakes. What I mean is, say none of us are like racist or anything or unequal, but sometimes we make jokes that are racist or we're like, oh, you're a girl, you can't do that. So even that one joke, it's unfair and unjust.
Unjust.
I would like to bring up the point that we need inequality. Believe it or not, we shouldn't treat
Wait,
children
stop. Hold on.
like they're grown adults.
We should give like a. What do people do? Trigger warnings.
Trigger warning.
Oh, you're
Ladies
right.
and gentlemen,
You're right. Yeah, yeah.
you are a feminist or associated with feminists.
Oh, jeez.
You might want to stop watching. Okay, Dave, keep going.
No, keep watching. Listen to this. Listen.
Dave, they're
Inequality
gonna kick you down and kill you.
Inequality is not necessarily a bad thing.
Please elaborate before you.
Please elaborate. All right. So we can't all be equals. We all have different strengths and different abilities. We can't treat somebody with no arms like we treat somebody with arms because they just can't pick up boxes. You know, like, hey, help me carry this couch up the stairs. That would be mean because they can't help you do that. It's just like I guess when you look at it more generally, you think of women, right, versus men, and that's like the first thing that's the first thing I think of, or even like maybe races. But like that kind of stuff doesn't make much sense. But we can't just treat everyone like they're the same. That would be even crazier, I think.
Why? It's not about treatment, but why can't we? You know, that shouldn't devalue anyone. You know, that shouldn't say.
Yes, it does. It 100% does. I'm never gonna hire somebody with no arms if I want to hire them to work in my warehouse.
Okay, that's true, but that doesn't mean they don't have, you know, another skill can be more useful than someone who does have arms.
Oh, that's perfectly. That is very true. But it's
as your lawyer, you might want to be aware that there's a little something called the Equal Opportunity Act. It says that you have to hire people with no arms in your warehouse. Okay.
Yeah, Dave, you're not just going to be like, you don't write on an application, do you have arms? Checkbox, yes or no. And like throw out all the applications that have no in the checkbox.
All right, to be fair, somebody with no arms probably wouldn't like apply for a job in a warehouse.
And they definitely wouldn't check that box.
Right.
But like, there's got to be certain qualifications that you have to meet for certain jobs. I mean, that's pretty clear. Like some jobs in warehouses, they require that you can lift 70 pounds or something like that. So that's discrimination right there.
Right, muscular discrimination. All muscles matter.
Well, I mean that. Look, it's the thing is that we're not equals. We're not all equals, and we can't act like we are all equals. We all have different strengths and abilities.
Agreeable, but
I'm literally shaking right now.
Right, me too.
I'm so triggered. Vlad, do you want to rebut him and tell him all the mistakes he just made?
Please do, Vlad.
Vlad's in shock too. Don't you see him?
I want to bring up some counters. For example, say there was a 20-year-old and a 60-year-old. You're gonna pay them the same because they're both males. But they can't do. Or it can be like someone's 20 and someone's 21, and for some reason, the 21-year-old does a way better job than the 20-year-old.
Guess who gets the raise then? The person who does the better job.
Okay, but at first they're equal payments. So just because all men are better than all women at something, you're not gonna pay the men more.
Whoa.
And what I'm trying to say is,
whoa.
if we do pay based on if we do pay based on how well someone does something, then it's gonna be a fair system anyway. But the fact that all women in some jobs are getting paid less than all men, that's unequal and unfair.
What do you mean, Vlad?
Vlad, you just countered yourself. You just said that all men are better than women at job X, and therefore they will get paid more, and that makes sense.
I'm saying the jobs that people are fighting are the ones that have unequal pay for men and women. if there was a job that paid based on efficiency of a person, if a job paid based on efficiency of, say it was like, all right, we'll pay you guys $10 per tree you cut. That would be a fair system if you agree to it.
$10
Yes.
per
And nobody
what?
would
Per tree you
per
cut.
tree you cut down.
Oh, okay.
So you're saying that where there is discrimination, it's bad, and when it's just the product of differences in abilities, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. And Ben stopped my shaking. I almost lost it.
All right, Ben, let's hear your 2 cents here
My 2 cents on what?
on this whole inequality. How do you perceive this?
Well, I could go all philosophical on you bitches.
Do it. You won't. No balls.
So
That's unequal, Nick.
Right.
Not
You're
everyone
saying-
has balls.
Right, you're saying just because he doesn't have balls, he can't do it?
okay, so what do we mean by equality, right? We mean that 2 things are the same, right? Good so far?
Yeah, I'm with
Wait,
you.
hold on.
Okay.
We're saying if something's unequal, then they're the same.
No, if 2 things are equal,
Oh, yeah, okay.
then they're
Yeah,
the same.
right.
So if me and Vlad are equal in height, it means we're the same height.
Yes.
I would agree with that statement.
Yeah. No logical fallacies there.
So if we were to make everyone equal, right,
Okay, I'm with you.
then we would all be the same, right?
Yes.
Then there would be no point to life to do anything. We would be inhuman because me and it would be exactly the same. Like we wouldn't think different thoughts, and we wouldn't look different, and we, we'd make the same money, and we do the same job. Everything would be exactly the same. So, because that can't be, equality is a terrible goal to shoot for, right? And of course, I'm taking it to the extremes. I'm taking it to the everything's equal. But if that's bad, if it's bad for everybody to be equal to each other in every way, then it doesn't make sense to move towards that goal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if there's nothing good about equality, if equality is inhumane, then there's no reason to push for equality. So that's my philosophical point. My more economics point. Why is there inequality? Well, because some people produce more value than other people in the world, and you all kind of said this. If you create $100,000 worth of value in a year for society, then society pays you $100,000 for that service. And if you only produce $50,000 worth of value for society, then society only pays you $50,000 for that service. And there's nothing fundamentally wrong with that. It's just it's actually pretty cool because it encourages everyone to produce more for society. And there's nothing inherently wrong with it, I guess. But that wasn't even the question, was it?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. How did we start?
Didn't we start talking about discrimination? And now we're. I mean, you made sense.
I asked Vlad, where does inequality come from?
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone is inferior to me. I mean,
Well,
check
it
this
comes
style
from
out.
differences. So, I mean, back to Dave's point, it comes from the fact that we all have different abilities and produce different amounts of value and things like that. The kind of inequality that we have today is probably from the Federal Reserve, but I won't go into that right now. Did you guys see that they raised the rates today?
What
The
rates?
rates?
The interest rate.
No.
Oh.
I'll be getting paid 3 cents per cycle?
No,
Oh.
it's not for you.
Interest I have to pay them.
No, it's the interest that the banks have to pay.
So student loans are going up?
No, it
No.
doesn't affect any of you in any way, unless the stock market crashes.
Here we go. January's on the way.
No, it's the interest rate for banks. So when the banks borrow money from the Federal Reserve, it's the interest rate that they have to pay on that money. So your interest rate might go up too, but not as much, and not as, not like today. Okay. Don't tell me what to do. All right. So, how would human nature change? So, I know that none of you think that we're not going to have any jobs, right?
Right.
I mean, that we're not going to get rid of all the jobs. But how would human nature change if we had no jobs? Like, to the point where you don't even have to, like, build your own additions to the shed. Like, there's literally no work to do. How does human nature change?
I don't know. That would seem pretty boring, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I feel like we would like just cease to exist, you know. I feel like work, whether or not you want to do it, it provides purpose, right? Does that make sense? You know, you get up and create value somewhere every day.
Right. Even if it is value for yourself.
Right, exactly. And I think if we literally had nothing left to do, then, you know, what's the point of us, you know? What are we
Thankfully,
doing?
that can't happen. There will
Right.
never be nothing to
Just
do.
thinking you know, hypothetically though.
Right.
Well, let's not go that far. Let's just say that there's no work to do. Like, we can still do shit. We can still go bowling. We can still have sex.
Thank God.
We can play video games if we want to.
Yeah, but who's gonna make the video games? Who's gonna make the condoms? Who's gonna open the bowling alley?
Dave, there's no condoms in this world.
Right. Hello? There's nothing to do, Dave. Why would you?
Right. There's no jobs. No, it's a hypothetical, Dave. You don't have to do anything ever.
But everything
don't
else, everybody else does.
You don't have to do anything ever.
Then the world gets, I would say it improves. You know, that's kind of like a utopian society kind of vision for me.
So that's the goal then, right? The goal is to get rid of jobs.
Okay. Keep playing me on. I need some, I got nothing. Yes, you're right. Keep playing for me. I want to do nothing all day.
Okay.
No, I just disagree with that in general. I really don't think the goal is to have no jobs.
What is the goal then, Dave?
I mean, does there have to be a goal? Everybody has their own goal. Maybe your goal is to have no job, but maybe my goal is to get a job because I want one. Because I
No,
want to
Dave,
see
what's
what
the
it's like to
ultimate
have
goal?
To go
Glad.
to Mars.
That's the ultimate goal?
Once we get there, we're done.
To be multi-planetary species.
That would be awesome.
Okay, but pretend that's already taken care of. how does human nature change?
Well, I think people get their pride from different places. People would value different things.
Can you give us an example?
Sure, like parents who want their children to go to Ivy Leagues get pride from that and can show off to other people. Now that won't be a case, so people would maybe find other ways to show off their children.
Like pageants and
There you go.
No, that would be work, wouldn't it?
I don't know.
That's
We still have work. There's just no work that we have to do. Like if Dave wants to build a shed, that will take work, but it's what he wants to do, you know.
Right.
I don't
okay.
have
So
to wake up and go to Stewart's because Stewart's is running itself, you know.
so then people would do whatever they want to do, even if it might be work now. They just won't get paid for it or whatever. And then I don't know. I don't really know.
I feel like life
So
gets
no
boring.
fundamental change of human nature.
I feel like we'd get bored, genuinely bored, because even though there's not work to do, I mean, I'm driven by the fact that I have to get through all this bullshit to get somewhere, because it just makes the victory that much sweeter. You know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't go through law school if you could just read your books and be a lawyer on your own. I feel like you have, you know, maybe I'm not in your head enough, but I imagine law school is not easy, and so the victory at the end of it will probably be much sweeter, you know, because you struggled.
Yeah,
But
I'd agree
there-
with that, Nick.
Would there be scientific things that we haven't discovered yet, or do we know everything and everything possible?
In my hypothetical,
Huh?
in my
Yeah.
hypothetical, we know everything. I mean, we don't know everything, but the robots know everything.
I wouldn't
human
get
nature
bored.
would definitely change.
There would be infinite things to do. How could you possibly get bored?
You got a point.
And we would have more time to explore these infinite things too. So if I wanted to start reading a billion books, and I would. If the next day I wanted to play a league, I would. Or go bowling, I would. It would be fun.
So it takes a lot of pressure off. You know,
Yeah.
you're not obligated to do anything. But I don't know. I feel like my obligations keep me on track. Otherwise, I would sleep my life away and do nothing.
And you think you wouldn't like that?
No, it's not that I wouldn't like that. It's just I feel like
Okay.
I need something to keep me on a track. Because
Right,
we
but
talk.
that's Livingston's whole point, is that we've become obsessed with work.
Right.
And that's irrational. We shouldn't be. I mean, what Vlad is saying is you can do whatever you want all day, every day, no stress, sleep all day, play league all day, have sex all day.
Yeah, right.
And you're saying, I don't think I like that because I need a job.
No. I wasn't thinking in terms of my just living. I was thinking in terms of how I wake up and go to class every day. You know, I wouldn't do it if I didn't have an end goal to it. I'm interpreting it. Go on.
If I can do anything I want, does that mean I can get a job?
Right.
No.
Right. That's the point, Dave. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was
like,
thinking.
what if that's actually what I want to do, and now all of a sudden I'm not allowed to do it? This doesn't sound like a very nice world to me.
Right.
Dave,
It
you don't
wouldn't be work
actually wanna do it.
anymore.
You've been tricked into thinking that you want to do it by American culture.
Yeah, but what if I just want to learn for myself? I know the robots already know everything, but what if I want to know about quantum mechanics or whatever? Just because I want to know how the world works.
So
Then you
that's-
could
You know,
do
like
that,
humans
but
are
it wouldn't be
naturally
work.
curious.
Then you can do that, but it wouldn't be work.
Why wouldn't it be work? You have to work. Look, here's an example, right? I want big muscles. You have to work for that. You don't just get big muscles. You have to work out every day for years, and eat
We're
the right
talking
diets
about
and
we're
whatever.
talking about jobs, not working.
What do you?
So we
look,
we didn't even set up a definition for work. Are we talking about you go to work as in you are working your 9 to 5? Or are you talking about putting in work like you're doing an action? You know.
work
The-
is force
The
times
essay,
distance, guys.
the essay was about jobs, not work.
Okay. All right. So you have to put in jobs.
No. What would you guys do with your time if
Work.
if you didn't have? Okay, work on what?
Whatever it is. I would be working on myself, whatever it is that I want. If I want to go bowling, that works on my happiness. If I want to go shopping all day, that works on my wallets being empty. You know?
Dave, you and me would never see Nick.
What are you talking about?
I mean, like me and Dave would be like in the mountains for like 8 weeks at a time, and Nick would just be sleeping the entire time.
That's so true. You guys come to get me for an 8 a.m. walk, and I'm still in bed. That's happened before, for anyone. who's
Yeah.
serious.
All right. Let's do one more question. All right, so let's talk about the general attitude of the article. Okay, essay.
Essay.
Yeah, I keep messing up. You know, in academics, we write essays and we call them articles. So it's like my beat, but not really. It's his beat. So he's clearly very liberal, right? And I would even call him a socialist. But was anyone put off by his attitude throughout the article?
A little bit. It felt like he was being a little bit of an elitist.
Yeah, he would just like assume away these big topics.
Right.
And so like when he started talking about inequality and stuff and transfer payments, he was like, just raise income taxes a little bit and fix this fake fiscal problem. Like there was such a disconnect there. You know, like no one denies that we couldn't just raise taxes and fix the problem, but that is the fiscal problem is should we raise the taxes? You know what I'm saying? Like he so strongly assumed that obviously just do this, you know. I read a question on Quora yesterday, maybe it was today, I don't know. I haven't left my house in a few days. That was like the big question was, is this economically viable? And it was, could we have the Fortune 500 companies contribute 1% of their income, their net income, to helping poverty if we require all the people in poverty to get a job? And it was just kind of like, viable as in possible? Well, yeah, of course. But that's not the question here, right? I mean, what's your real question? I mean, the real question is, would that help the economy? And no, but everyone kind of see what I'm saying here?
A little. Keep explaining.
So, he talked about Malthus for a second, right? He said, you know, our essay writer. He said, hasn't Malthus always been proven wrong in the past? You know, like he's answering, he's pretending to be us for a minute, and so he can refute us in a second. He's like, but come on, professor. Hasn't Malthus always been proved wrong in the past? Hasn't there always been a renewed spring of jobs and stuff that saved us from this point that you're talking about? And he says, yes, that's true in the past, but this time is different. You know, like he just knows that this time is different. You know, like Malthus has been proven wrong every time anyone ever thought he was right. This time he's right. Another example was raising taxes on corporations can't force them to hire less workers or move overseas. He actually uses the line, raising taxes on corporations can't have these effects. And it's just like, every economist says that they have these effects, but he's like, no, they haven't had these effects, so they can't have these effects. Like, I just felt like this article was very terribly argued. You know, like, I think the reason that some of you had problems understanding it was because it glossed over everything important and then just kind of hodgepodge random points that didn't make sense because he wasn't explaining anything.
Right. There was no explanation. It was more just like, here's what we should change. And it's like, okay, but why? And it's like, well, because we see this. And then, oh, we should change something else because of this, you know. And there was no, like you're saying, there was no explanation.
Right. Like the very premise that there will be no jobs in 20 years, right, is something we all disagreed with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he didn't even back that up at all. You know,
right.
Like
I mean, for instance, there was a point where he was like, we've seen jobs hit the graveyard and they have yet to come back, but you know that. Like we're saying, it's the whole thing is that he assumes that always and forever in the future that things will never come back and things will never revitalize, and it's like, I don't know, I didn't like it for that reason.
Right. Right. He didn't know how to make an argument, and you know, at the end he says, he's summing up, right, and he's like, what if we didn't have to work? And it's like, what if? You know, you haven't actually told us that yet. You know, you haven't told us that we don't have to work. I don't know. I don't know where exactly I'm going with this point, but like,
we're discrediting the article essay.
We are, but it's more than that. Like, I'm trying to give a message to the audience and to you three. Like this article feels professional, right? Essay.
No.
I'm sorry.
I disagree.
Why do you disagree, Vlad?
I knew it was written by someone bad, and therefore I didn't like take much from it, like, for granted.
Okay.
Like his points, I wasn't like, oh, he's right, I'm gonna tell people this from now on. No, it was like, all right, this is what he's saying. I still have my own opinions. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. You know, and that's wise, I guess. But so I got this article from Leonard Bopp, right? And Leonard Bopp is a communist.
Right.
He's actually a Marxist. And I told him once, I said, listen, Leonard, even Marxists aren't Marxists anymore. Like, Marx has been so thoroughly disproved by everyone who's ever read his books that it's not even funny. So obviously Leonard's a gullible guy. But Dave, you remember when I had my libertarian episode and you put that article out in the group chat that was like how to refute your libertarian uncle in 7 questions? And it was the most ridiculous thing you've ever read.
It was so fucking stupid.
Right. Like they don't even take the second to understand what they're arguing against. So, this comes up most often for me when I read, what the hell is it called? Jacobin, the communist magazine, socialist magazine. Like their articles are so ridiculous that anyone in the world who doesn't read Jacobin could refute them. And yet they keep getting printed and they keep getting published. And this guy, Livingston, has books and probably lots of other essays, lots of other articles. And if they're anything like this article, it just doesn't even make sense that he would have. I mean, he said nothing in this essay, is my point. Like nothing substantial was proven or adequately supported.
Right. It's like reading an article written by Donald Trump. It's like
right. It's like some guy got drunk at a party and just started screaming crazy shit, like there's going to be no jobs. What are we going to do without jobs? You don't think the government can just pay us just to live without work? Just like, what are you talking about? I don't know. The reason I picked this article is because I read it and it kind of made sense, right? Like, it's true. We don't want jobs in the future. Like, I don't want to work. I want to work as little as possible. Like, right. I have plans to retire very early in my life. And he had, just hints of real stuff, but nothing was there enough to actually prove anything. Which I thought, that's a skill, right? I mean, like, to get close to 8 different things, but not to actually talk about any of them, right? I mean, I can't do that.
Yeah, I feel like he could have written like 8 more essays, one on each of his points.
Yeah. Right. Right. I don't know. Just something else.
No, I made it personal. I should have just talked to you. Fuck.
All right. Anyone else have any last minute thoughts? Any last minute questions?
Yeah. You want to write an essay for me tonight? 2 pages.
2 pages?
Yeah. Double space.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. There's one question that needs to be answered that I have yet to do.
Dude, what have you been doing the past 2 days that you've done nothing?
Sleeping, not working.
Nick, I would love to help you, but I actually have my own client.
I'm only kidding. All will be well. I'll be home tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, on that note,
Dave, when are you done? The 21st, Wednesday?
Yeah, I'm coming home on Wednesday. I'm done on Tuesday.
Holy crap. Ben and I have a long time left.
Like, what about
without you guys.
Wednesday.
Next Wednesday?
Yeah.
Nick, don't include me in your us time. I got shit to do.
Ben, when are you done?
21st, Wednesday.
No, you don't have shit to do.
I have shit to do, okay?
Am I not important enough for you?
You are, Nick. If you asked me to hang out with you every day, I would hang out with you every day. But hopefully you're not going to ask me to do that because I
have shit to do.
Hey, how about we end the episode?
No.
Yeah?
Right. I thought he was going to say by doing something.
Right.
Okay.
I thought he was going to finish his sentence.
Just end it.
The tone he ended his sentence on was like, how about we finish the sentence? I said sentence, but it still made sense.
All right. Well,
okay. Take us out.
Mine.
Mind you.